Ahsoka Season 2 is finally official, but what does it actually mean for Star Wars? Welcome to Star Wars Uplink. After Season 1's end, we kinda knew that there was going to be a second season of Ahsoka. As much as they want to play coy and be like, well, we don't know anything about second season, haven't gotten a call yet, we kinda knew that was going to happen. And it's official now, with Lucasfilm taking the charge and announcing the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, and down at the bottom, the Ahsoka Season 2 announcement. But what is actually going to happen? We have a lot of open questions with Ahsoka Season 1. First off, how are they going to get back? We know that they're going to get back to the normal Star Wars universe. Second off, what actually is happening with this planet? Because according to what they say and what we can see from extended universes and stuff that they kind of hinted at, that this world that they're on is the origins of the Night Sisters and could be even the origins of the Force, or that specific flavor of the Force. And then there's the whole idea with Abeloth and that whole time and idea that they could run with, and it just really is interesting to see where they left off and where they could go. They definitely wanted to do something bigger with Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati for sure, with the ending alluding very heavily to a continuation of their specific story. But now that Ray Stevenson is no longer alive, unfortunately, it does lend itself to some questions on the future of the Ahsoka series. And in my personal opinion, the big thing that I enjoyed the most in Ahsoka Season 1 was Baylan's character. He seemed to have the most fleshed out idea of where they were going, and it definitely seemed like he was trying something different. This idea of not quite a gray Jedi, just not a Sith, a dark Jedi in some form or fashion is an interesting idea, and it fulfills a lot of the fan theories and headcanons that a lot of people have had throughout the decades now of this idea of a gray Jedi. But where are they going to go? And I want to talk about a couple different options and theories that I have on where they could move forward the story of Ahsoka and lead into what the Mandalorian and Grogu and Dave Filoni's movie could actually pull off. And I'm going to break this down into 3 different storylines. We've got the Ahsoka and Sabine, which we're going to start with first, Ezra and Hera and Thrawn second, and then finally we're going to finish off with Baylan and Shin. So now let's get into Ahsoka and Sabine. Ahsoka and Sabine in the first season don't necessarily have a serious bit of character development. There's moments, but pre-dying Ahsoka and post-dying Ahsoka are basically the same person, except now she smiles more. And that's, I'm sorry if that's a controversial opinion, but that's just how I feel with it. That is my opinion with the show, is there's little in terms of the character development with this. Sabine, on the other hand, she had more potential for character development because there was the struggle with each other. There was Ahsoka and Sabine's past failings as apprentice and master, and then there were little moments where Ahsoka seemed to be giving more of the reins of control over to Sabine, which did work out pretty well, and I was hoping that would be the direction that they go. Not that Sabine would be force sensitive, but that Ahsoka and Sabine would learn how to look at the failings of each other and be able to move past that and grow into bigger, more full characters. Whether or not that actually happens, I personally don't think so, but there's still opportunity for that. Ahsoka's in this really weird spot where they're trying to pull a lot of the loose ends from the Rebels Season 4 and continue that storyline without having its own full breadth, an own full development or story arc. In terms of what I think the original plan was for Ahsoka and Sabine and Baylan and Shin, which we'll get into later, was this mirror. The idea that Ahsoka and Sabine are mirrors of these dark Jedi at the same point. It's this old style Jedi training the next generation of Jedi, Whether or not you like the idea that Sabine is force sensitive, they're working with this idea that George Lucas had where anyone and everyone has the potential to utilize the force, whether that is in small or big moments, and that everyone is connected through the force. But I think that Ahsoka and Sabine are going to have to do a lot of learning, and this is going to be the Empire Strikes Back moment for both of them, where they're going to develop their skills and continue working with each other to eventually take down Thrawn, or be a piece in taking down Thrawn, because that is the big bad that they've had experience with through Rebels, and it is going to be the big bad of this next generation of the Mandoverse. I think they're ultimately going to learn better how to work with each other, as well as learn more around the history and the beginnings of this flavor of the Force, in terms of how the Night Sisters ran away from this planet or pull power from this planet. I think that could be something that they learn deeper understanding of. Ezra and Hera and Thrawn. This is the thing that I think we're going to see less of in this season. I think the A storyline is going to be Ahsoka and Sabine getting back to the normal Star Wars galaxy. And I think the B plot is going to be this subplot of Ezra and Hera learning more about Thrawn's plan, what Ezra learned in his time away from the galaxy, catching up with the characters that we know of. How can Ezra and Hera convince the rest of the galaxy, convince the New Republic that Thrawn is a threat and he is back? How can they turn this idea of Voldemort is not alive until he is seen by the government? I think they're going to play a lot with that in this B plot, but I don't think we're going to see much of it until maybe the end. I think maybe they may find this big discovery thing. Whatever Ahsoka 2 is going to be is more than likely going to set up the Dave Filoni movie. I think we're going to see a world where this prequel of Ahsoka Season 2 is going to lead up to what The Mandalorian and Grogu is going to be, which leads up to what Dave Filoni's movie is going to be. And then finally, I think Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are going to work together to make a Star Wars version of Endgame. That they're going to have this moment where everything comes together and they build this new platform for deeper stories, and Thrawn's probably going to get defeated. Baylan and Shin. Baylan and Shin, I think, was the biggest through line. The thing that I was most sad that they did not do in the last episodes of Ahsoka Season 1. I totally thought that we'd see only 2 minutes of Thrawn, but we would see Baylan and Shin as the main forces of evil that they have to fight against. I totally thought that the A-plot of Ahsoka Season 1 was going to be new Jedi versus old Jedi. This idea of Sabine versus Shin and Ahsoka versus Baylan, both in similar parts of their lives, but different in terms of their placement or their side of history. And they just did not do that. I was really sad when they had this big epic moment at the end where Baylan started looking for what he would ultimately find on this new planet. The thing where stories were told and legends were birthed from was this planet. And then we didn't see any more of that. Totally leading up to what Ahsoka Season 2 was more than likely going to cover until Ray Stevenson's passing. But I think we're going to see a continuation of that story beat, but in terms of Ahsoka and Sabine rather than Baylan and Shin. I do think we're going to see more of Shin, and I think she's going to be more of this like rogue bounty hunter, mercenary style character where she is struggling in this path, in this idea that she wants more power that Baylan was not giving her, and then also overcoming the hurt and anger that she has of feeling betrayed by Baylan in his separation, of maybe not feeling prepared for this place in the galaxy. So I think there's going to be a lot of these different pieces that they're going to play with Baylan and Shin. Hopefully we see more of that storyline. But on the other hand, I kind of want to see, hey, Ray Stevenson did an unmatched job of portraying this character. We're going to let his story be what is on screen rather than continuing it with a recast. But I don't know, I'm torn because I really like this idea of Baylan as a character, but I think a lot of what I love about Baylan was because of Ray Stevenson's portrayal, so I'm kind of torn on that. But let me know your thoughts on these 3 different theories around the future of Ahsoka Season 2 and Star Wars as a whole. Let me know your thoughts again in the comments below. Check out our podcast, and may the Force be with you.